Greetings, YouTube. Danny Staten here on the Daily Dan Blog. I want to wish everybody out there in YouTube land a happy 4th of July. Today I'm taking a look at the life and times of John F. Kennedy, famous American president from the 60s. I bet most of you never heard of John F. Kennedy. The younger people anyway. He was famous for a lot of things. I'll probably go over most of them. My fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. One of the famous lines from John F. Kennedy, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Let's take a look inside. You know it's a 4th of July holiday weekend when the first thing you see inside a comic book is the patriotic American flag. We're going to learn about John F. Kennedy. We're going to learn about him being born. We're going to learn about Harvard. We're going to learn about England. We're going to see him in the Navy, the House of Representatives, the Senate. We're going to see him marry a hot chick named Jacqueline Onassis, a boy, and we're going to move on with the rest of his interesting life. But, and let me point out that this comic book probably won't end well. If you want to read that, there it is. So in full, beautifully drawn, colorful panels, we get this story started with the dad. He's off in Ireland. He's thinking about how rough life in Ireland is. He jumps on a boat and heads off to the new world. That's right, he coming to America. He coming to America with his little polka-dotted bag. That's probably everything he brought with him. He gets a job right off the rip and starts enjoying life in the USA. He gets a good old job at Pat's Tavern. What? Pat has a tavern? That's right, it'll be a good time. Tell everybody, be sure to check out my friend Pat McCormick on the Golden Rage of TV. You'll find that here on YouTube. Be sure to check out my other friend, Dave Sunstorm, King of the Good Stuff, here on YouTube. And be sure to check out his really cool brother, Steven Sunstorm. And, of course, my friend Thrash Pundo Puns, as well as the Internet Retro Serial. And while I'm doing shout-outs, check out Corey's comedy channel, BK on the Air. And, of course, the Life and Sad Endings channel. It's a good one for you, Life and Sad Endings guy. This is really going to be a life and sad ending. Kennedy Daddy comes to America. Kennedy Dad goes to work. He joins the Democratic Party. He gets married. He goes into politics. It isn't long before old Kennedy's dad becomes the star of the Catholic world of politics. He raises his kids in a slick New England lifestyle. Politics, and more politics, as young JFK gets the finest education money can buy. Young Jack is going to Harvard. And what an amazing life young Jack Kennedy lives. As he goes to Harvard, he joins the Young Democrats of America. He learns to play baseball. He eats up some pancakes. He joins the yacht club. That's right. He's a water sports champion. He can swim. He can run the yacht. And he can play the heck out of some baseball. Them wild and crazy Kennedy boys as they wrestle it up and tear up the living room in their youth. There they sit, Joe, Jack, and John, the official Three Stooges of the Democrat Party. But that was early on in their youth, as young Jack joins the swim team. That's right, he becomes a swimming superstar. His brother goes off into the military, becomes an ace, becomes a pilot in the U.S. Army Air Corps. But all that changes when bombs bust. And it's the beginning of World War II, boy. So in full panels brought to you by the Daily Dan Blog. 420. We get a look at the life of JFK. That's right. Why, his younger brother was in the Army and his older brother was in the Air Force, fighting the bad guys and winning white battles in Germany. Yeah, JFK was writing books. JFK was going to school. JFK was getting rejected from the U.S. Army because JFK had flat feet. That's right, JFK had some flat feet. He wasn't accepted in the Army. This just destroyed him. He did not know what he would do. As the war raged on in Europe, JFK was reading letters from his brother. You know his brother Joe, the great ace, the famous Joe, the one who gets shot down and dies in World War II. But it isn't long before old Jack joins the U.S. Navy, because when you go to Harvard and you're really rich, you don't be a grunt when you join the Army or the Navy. You don't be swabbing decks. No, you go automatically to being a PT boat commander because you went to Harvard and you're rich and you become the skipper, because that's the way the world works. So make sure you go to college if you want to be the commander. Hey, look, there's a big boat coming. Smash! Of course, he wasn't no good commander, as his boat instantly, old PT-109, is run over by a giant German ship and crashed. So in full panels, which might be the only exciting thing that happens in this political comic book, you see a big kaboom as JFK's boat slowly sinks to the bottom. That's right, JFK turned out to be the worst commander in PT boat history, as him and his few men that survived try to make it to a island. They are devastated by the loss of their boat, as they make it to the island at least. So in full panels, brought to you by Daily Dan Blog, you find JFK washed up on the beach with his mates. JFK carving his name and stuff into a coconut, hoping it gets him rescued when he throws it in the ocean. Wow. But it didn't work, but eventually they found him. They brought old JFK back to the hospital, where, of course, because he went to Harvard, for getting his boat blowed up by the Nazis, for getting run over and not having enough sense to get out the way, he gets a medal. And his men cry. Well, I don't guess after that he did much in the war, and nobody else did neither. They had a few battle scenes, a couple of Germans got shot, and poof, it's years later, and here he is running for Congress. There you go, Kennedy headquarters. And we see Kennedy running for Congress. Makes the headlines of the paper. Oh, the excitement of a political or comic book. We see Kennedy giving a speech. We see Kennedy shaking hands. We see Kennedy kissing old ladies and babies. We see Jack win Congress by a landslide. That's right, he's off in the world of politics. He's going to sign bills into law. He's going to be a politician. Now tell me honestly in the comments below, can you think of anything worse than a political comic book? A comic book about politics. Happy 4th of July. I can't imagine nothing. I can't imagine nothing that would be worse than a political comic book. Happy 4th of July, YouTube. What could be worse than this? Let me know in the comments below. I stand corrected, YouTube. I have found something 100 times worse than Kennedy. I have found something straight from the bowels in the pit of beef. So in full panels, we'll get back to the 60s, a better time in life. It's Jack, Joe, no, it's Jack and John, it's the other brother. Run for office, they become politicians. Kennedy is going to be the president of our future. He's going to be the man that takes us to the moon. He's going to be the man that changes everything. He is truly a lucky man. Oh, what a lucky man he was. He marries Jacqueline Onassis. And that is truly a lucky man he was. I bet Marilyn Monroe don't show up in this book. Oh, it come out in 64. You know, they ain't even going to put Marilyn singing happy birthday to Mr. President in here, are they? I bet they're not. Anyway, Kennedy's on the politic trail. Kennedy's running for Senate. Kennedy's a man. Kennedy's going to win. He's making the news. Kennedy, everywhere you look. Hey, it was real quick that he won the Senate. And he became the most popular politician in American history as he gets on the campaign trail. And now he's talking about running for president at the Democrat National Convention. Oh, my goodness, will he win? That's right, he's in battle with a hardcore president named Richard Nixon. I am not a criminal. I didn't do it. Anyway, Richard Nixon's going to have a bad day. Richard Nixon will have his turn. But it won't be now because Kennedy's going to wear him down. That's right, Kennedy debates him and Kennedy tears him a new one. Everybody saw Nixon sweat, and they think that's what cost him the election. As Kennedy signs new civil rights laws. Kennedy becomes one of the most famous of all presidents as he pins a medal on Neil Armstrong for putting the first men in space. You know, after he died, we went to the moon there, Kennedy. We really did. Anyway, he pins medals on the astronauts' chest for the first lunar orbit. He blockades Cuba with ships. He becomes the most popular president in history. And he gets famous for letting this little baby play on the White House floor. Oh my God, in Oval Office. A concert at the White House, and that's some more excitement. And then you see some guy in a library depository with a rifle. And they're actually going to put it in the comic book where Kennedy takes one to the head. Look at that. You see his little brains blowing out and stuff. Wow. They put that in a comic book. That is some, wow. For comic books for kids, you know, assassinations are really a big topic. Happy 4th of July. Anyway, we see Jacqueline and Little Junior at the coffin of the American president. We see the country play honor to the fallen hero. We see a procession, carrying his coffin into state. We see his wife Jacqueline cry, and we get that famous scene of his little son saluting the casket as it passes by, and we lay him to rest with a candle in the wind. A candle in the wind, that was fun. And that is the life of Mr. John Fitzgerald Kennedy on this 4th of July, 2023, brought to you by the Daily Dan blog. Here's some reading from Michael Morone. Wait a minute, this comic book don't got Bugs Bunny in it, so I doubt Morone will read it. I'll watch it anyway. You know, Morone, he likes little cartoon animals. But he'll probably read this if he watches, so there you go, Morone. And yay, they didn't waste the back of the comic. They put a fine color portrait of the famous president right there on the back. Now, I give that a thumbs up. So happy 4th of July, America. I hope you enjoyed my look at the life of John F. Kennedy on this 4th of July holiday week. And be sure to join me for my next comic book review, which I'm sure will be 100 times better than this one. And I'm sorry for doing politics, but it's the 4th of July. And this is the one comic book I had that was had a flag, whatever. Until next time, this is Denny Staten on the Day Dan blog. Blog over, dudes.